Look closely at this metal box at the airport gate. It looks like a simple safety tool. It is not. It is a tax toll booth, custom built to extract money from your pocket. You see, an airline ticket looks ordinary, but the price is a lie. A flight that is advertised as a $49 deal can easily become a $200 bill by the time you actually board the plane. And that extra money does not just disappear. It flows through a psychological trap built to make one thing almost impossible: walking away. You are told that this unbundled pricing is normal, that it gives you freedom and choice. It does not. It was designed to exploit you. To understand how this industry really works, we have to follow the money through 3 hidden chambers: a secret tax loophole, a court battle to keep you in the dark, and an international regulatory war. Once you see the machine, the price of your ticket stops looking like an accident. This is not a story about a few extra dollars for a soda. This is a story about a global financial monster. In the year 2024, global airline ancillary revenue, the money they make from things other than the actual base ticket, surpassed a record $148 billion. That is not a recovery from the pandemic. It is a permanent structural shift. For the year 2025, that number is projected to skyrocket even further to $157 billion. If you look at the United States alone, passengers paid a record $7.27 billion just to check their bags in 2024. That is $7 billion in pure high-margin revenue extracted from a service that used to be completely free. Today, these extra charges contribute up to 16% of all global airline revenue. For budget airlines like Spirit and Frontier, that number rises to over 50%. They do not make their money by flying you from place to place. They make their money by penalizing you for existing inside the cabin. But why are airlines so obsessed with separating the bag fee from the ticket fare? It is not just about making the ticket look cheap on a search engine. It is about a hidden tax loophole that saves them hundreds of millions of dollars every single year. Under United States tax law, every domestic flight ticket is subject to a 7.5% federal excise tax. This money goes directly to fund the Federal Aviation Trust Fund, which pays for airport infrastructure and air traffic control. But here's the trick: baggage fees are completely exempt from this tax. If an airline charges you $150 for a ticket, they must pay $11.25 in federal taxes. But if they lower the ticket price to $50 and charge you $100 for your bags, they only pay $3.75 in tax. The other $100 in baggage revenue is completely tax-free. Across billions of dollars in bag fees, this simple shift saves major airlines hundreds of millions of dollars at the taxpayer's expense. This is not a mistake. This is what the system rewards. To make this tax trick work, airlines have to master a psychological checkout funnel designed to wear down your defenses. It starts on search engines like Google Flights or Skyscanner. The algorithms are programmed to sort flights by the lowest base price. By stripping away every single basic passenger need, your carry-on bag, your seat, your boarding pass, airlines can artificially occupy the #1 spot on the search results with a fake $49 fare. Once you click that link, the trap is sprung. You enter the checkout funnel. The airline forces you to input your passport number, your contact details, and your passenger information. By the time you reach the baggage selection screen 15 minutes later, you are a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. Your brain registers the time and effort you have already invested. You are far more likely to accept a surprise $40 carry-on fee and a $30 seat fee than to cancel the transaction and start your search all over again. The friction of starting over is the airline's greatest weapon. Nowhere is this friction more profitable than at the boarding gate. Here, airlines exploit a strict binary. pay the fine, or leave your bag behind. Low-cost carriers like Ryanair have turned this gate check into an art form. If you fail to check in online, or if your phone battery dies, and you need a boarding pass printed at the airport, Ryanair charges you a massive €55 fee. If your backpack does not slip perfectly into their rigid metal sizer, you are hit with a $75 gate fee. But in May of 2024, the government of Spain decided they had seen enough. Spain's Ministry of Consumer Affairs hit Ryanair, EasyJet, Vueling, and Volotea with a historic €150 million fine, which later rose to over €179 million on final appeal. The Spanish regulators ruled that charging passengers for standard carry-on bags and printing boarding passes was an predatory practice that violated basic consumer protection laws. It was supposed to be a historic victory for passengers, but the airline cartel was already preparing to strike back. While European airlines fought the Spanish government, a parallel war broke out in the United States. In April of 2024, the United States Department of Transportation issued a landmark transparency rule. It required airlines to disclose all ancillary fees, including carry-on and checked bag fees, up front, the very first time a customer is shown a ticket price. No more hiding fees until the final checkout screen. The airline lobby reacted with absolute fury. Within weeks, the major carriers, including American, Delta, United, and JetBlue, represented by their trade group Airlines for America, filed a massive lawsuit against the federal government. In the case of Airlines for America versus the Department of Transportation, case number 24, 60,231, the airlines argued that the government was exceeding its authority and that showing fees up front would actually confuse consumers. In July of 2024, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with the airlines, issuing a temporary stay that blocked the transparency rule from taking effect. The airlines successfully sued the government to keep their fees hidden in the shadows. Back in Europe, the battle took an even more bizarre turn. As Spain attempted to collect its €179 million fine from Ryanair and EasyJet, a powerful ally stepped in to defend the airlines: the European Commission in Brussels. The European Commission argued that Spain's national consumer protection laws were actually illegal under European Union law. Specifically, they cited EU Regulation 1008 of the year 2008, which guarantees airlines complete pricing freedom across the single European market. Brussels asserted that national governments do not have the right to regulate bag fees, because doing so interferes with the free market. This has sparked a massive regulatory civil war. On one side are national consumer protection agencies, who argue that a small carry-on bag is an essential, non-negotiable right for any human traveler. On the other side is the Central European Government, defending the low-cost business model that has made billions of dollars by making travel as stressful as possible. While lawyers and lobbyists wage war in courtrooms, the human cost of this unbundling machine is paid by passengers every single day. The system is built on a foundation of anxiety. It is the stress of a parent being forced to pay an extra $60 in seat selection fees just to ensure they aren't separated from their 7-year-old child on a 5-hour flight. It is the panic of a student being publicly scolded at the gate because their backpack is 2 centimeters too wide for a metal cage. It is the financial penalty levied on an elderly traveler who is charged $25 to print a physical boarding pass because they do not own a smartphone. The airline industry has successfully shifted the burden of travel from the carrier to the customer. They have turned the act of packing a suitcase into a high-stakes game of financial survival, where a single mistake can double the cost of your trip. But passengers are starting to fight back, using the airline's own rules and strict regulations against them. First, there is the nuclear option. The Department of Transportation's automatic refund rule, which became fully effective in October of 2024. Under this federal law, if your flight is canceled or significantly delayed by more than 3 hours domestically, you are entitled to a full, automatic cash refund to your original payment method, not a useless travel voucher. Demand your cash. Second, passengers are weaponizing physical design. A massive wave of travelers are buying specialized under-seat travel bags, built to the exact millimeter dimensions of Ryanair and Spirit sizers. These bags pack like a suitcase, but fit perfectly under the seat, completely bypassing the gate agent sizer trap. Finally, smart travelers are using credit card incidental credits to wipe out bag fees entirely, turning the airline's unbundled tax shelter into a free travel perk. The cheap flight era is a psychological illusion. But once you understand the unbundling machine, you can stop playing their game, exploit their loopholes, and take back control of your journey.